Hello everyone, this is David Smith. I'm still at the Develop Conference in Brighton, and I'm very pleased to have with me Adam Green, who is the MD at Assyria Game Studio. Adam, please, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, like I said, I'm Adam. I'm Managing Director of Assyria Studios, which is a small indie company based out of Middlesbrough in the northeast. We primarily do iPhone games and then a bit of contracting for other companies, and it's largely me and one artist, and then we hire freelancers in order to fill that additional capacity in terms of what work we need at the time.
What sort of games are you working on?
So in terms of our own IP, it's predominantly just iPhone games. Both myself and my business partner will also contract ourselves out on occasion, so we've done some work for Sony in the past and Sumo and a few others. But predominantly it's our own stuff for iPhone and just kind of small, polished, quirky games.
Yeah, and so name a couple of titles, give them a plug.
So there was The Glowing Boy that hit the top 25 in the US. There was Mirror Maze that I think also hit the 25 in the US and was featured by Apple a few times. Within the contracting side, I was producer on Sonic All-Stars Racer for iPhone, which was working with Sumo on that. So they're the main ones that I'm credited on.
Sound good to me. So tell us a bit more about your role at Assyria and maybe how you came to set up the company in the first place.
Yeah, so I set it up actually in the placement year of my degree where you normally take an internship. And initially it was just a case of, well, there weren't that many jobs around initially because it was right smack in the middle of the recession. I figured if I'm going to do it, now's the time to do it. And the idea of going through it for a year and probably making quite a lot of mistakes, I expected that I would learn a lot more from that than I would necessarily from even getting a job and just doing art or just doing production for a bit. So I kind of wanted to experience the business side, and coming from the art degree that I came from, I thought it would be I'd learn a lot quicker that way, even if it was not necessarily the best business. I mean, we broke even first year, which was great, considering we started too big with 7 of us full time. So breaking even I was quite happy with for a first year, but I definitely learned an awful lot by going through that process, and it'd have to give me the confidence to carry on doing it at least.
So you didn't go back to uni at the end, or not?
No, I went back to university and I got some venture capital funding into the business to do my dissertation project, which was an iPhone promotion company, and then that's one aspect of the business that kind of makes a lot of just kind of bread and butter money. And we've got quite a lot of big-ish clients, so like there's NG Merco and Fuse, that a lot of quite large companies that are quite kindly giving us some advertising.
Fantastic. How easy is it to work with a team of freelancers?
I think initially it's quite hard until you know who you can trust and rely on a fairly consistent basis. So through the process of the last few years, I've created a network of freelancers that I can, if they're available, I can fairly rely on them and I'll know they get the job done when they say it's going to get done. Initially filtering that people out takes quite a lot of time and a reasonable amount of expense to go through that pain, but I think once it's there, it's a very nice model that allows, especially as a small company that hasn't got huge reserves of finance, it allows you to get a project in and know what your margin is going to be in a far safer way than when I had staff on a full-time basis and I needed 15 grand a month to just break even.
Yeah. And you said you were based in the northeast in Middlesbrough. Is that a great place to make games?
I think it was great for when I was starting up. I came out of university and they have a great incubation unit whereby they will give you some office space, some access to the software that you need, and some kind of survival money to kind of get off the ground for 3 months. And that was incredibly useful, starting out as a whole lot of essentially really poor students that needed ideally baked bean rationing. So I mean that really helped get the business to the point that it can become self-sustaining and generate enough money to deal with those overheads. Having said that, there aren't that many developers there, so it's kind of twofold. I think it was a great place to start, and I think it's nice to. I like living there, but I think I'd like to move or open up a few, or deal with freelance in a few different places rather than just there, because there isn't necessarily all the talents there. A lot of it moves out after finishing uni.
No, okay, I understand. Finally, Adam, what advice would you give a job seeker looking to work in the game industry, maybe developing games like you have for the mobile space?
I mean, I definitely think trying to start a company, even if you don't make it, you learn an awful lot through that process. That I think will ultimately help longer term, because I think it's fairly easy to get a job and over the course of 10 years build up your career and role within that company. But it's a lot more fun to do your own thing. You make an absolute ton of mistakes in the beginning, but you learn very quickly to not do them. And I think that going through that process I found incredibly useful, and I think it's something that I actually recommend a lot of people to do if they're up for it.
Yeah, no, good. Adam Green, MD of Assyria Game Studio, thank you very much.
Thank you.